Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. When it comes to building supplies, there is nobody in East Tennessee that can compete with these guys. They've been around for 100 years, and they're always a step ahead. That's how you stick around for 100 years. As is the case with their line with Nudura products, insulated concrete forms. If you are building, this gives your architect so much more flexibility. It's better for continuous insulation, reliable performance, incredibly energy efficient. Get to A.G. Hines Company or reach out to them online or via their phone number, which you'll see on my desk here for the next 7 or 8 minutes. Give them a call and ask about Nudura and how they can help you in your next building project. A.G. Hines Company. All right, Adam Tate, the University of Tennessee Assistant Athletic Director for Compliance, resigned from his position last month. It was reported this week. No shock there, considering the fact that the chancellor of the university came out and said it was a stunning number of violations and a stunning number of people involved. Your compliance guy probably is going to get it in the neck over that. I wish the guy luck. That's not going to look good on the resume if you're wanting to be a compliance guy in the future. But
your next title can be Director of Non-Compliance.
Yes, but and you wonder how much was he just hired to look the other way.
Yeah.
But at any rate, this brings me back to the investigation, which is now in month 6. This thing started in December. We're in May now. It's month 6, and it's an investigation being run by a law firm that Tennessee hired. It's the internal portion of it. Granted, you want to be buttoned up when you turn this over to the NCAA. 6 months, $500,000 at this stage? Here's my question. Is this just a matter of due diligence and everybody's no big deal, don't worry about it? Or because you've covered Tennessee for years, do you look at it and say, could there be a reason this is dragging out and it not be good? Because there are rumors out there that could be the case. Thoughts on what you're looking at here? Vince, I'll let you start this one.
Well, I think a good part of it is that there's probably some missteps early on. I talked to Dan Lust, who's a sports attorney and legal analyst, and he said he looked over the Pruitt contract because at the time that was something that
pretty important to look at.
Yeah, you didn't know how that separation was going to go, and he said, well, honestly, I was pretty stunned at how poorly worded that contract was. Basically, that some of the wording was vague. It wasn't specific as to the reasons to be able to terminate him, with cause. So I think from that, they've probably had to be a little bit more careful and watch their steps. But I think that was part of it setting it up.
Vince, I find that you can't tell me that a proven veteran, seasoned athletic director administrator like Philip Fulmer would hand out a bad contract. This guy had so much history of looking at contracts and handing them out. I mean, that was just, oh, wait, he'd never done it. Oh, that's right. Tennessee hired a guy who'd never been an AD before. But UT hands out a contract that what you're getting at is, and this rumor's out there, the NCAA can come in and slap a program and slap a coach and say, well, you should have known what was going on. In terms of a university firing a coach and saying we don't have to pay you, contract will probably make it to where you have to prove that the guy knew this or was involved in this to make it stand up in a courtroom.
It's a legal matter, not an NCAA matter.
Exactly. Right? So in this case, it does make you wonder if they're still digging, if this thing's still going on because they haven't found the goods to hit Jeremy Pruitt and take all his money away from him, which we talked about on this show when it first came out. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, to go back to what you asked, did you ask us if Tennessee fans should be worried about anything?
Well, what do you think as a talk show host who's covered the Vols for decades?
Well, think about Josh Heupel's contract includes an extension, automatic extension, if the penalties are to a certain severity, right? So even Tennessee has already applied language to where it could be bad. So. You also, you just never know with the NCAA. So if you're worried about how Tennessee might be handling it with the internal investigation, what the NCAA might see, the fact that it's taken so long, and you just never know. And you could also say, well, Tennessee's tried to be out in front of this. Missouri tried. And then Missouri was hit hard and had a postseason ban.
Yeah,
so,
you don't know what you're going to get there.
I think you have to be worried until you know.
Yeah, but the fact that it's going on and on, though, is what's
right. I mean,
that sends up a red flag
right away. And I know in real estate, John, due diligence is typically defined as between I wrote it down 14 and 30 days. I know it can be longer if you're getting into NCAA and college and everything else, but 5 or 6 times as long as like a normal kind of due diligence period, the more it drags out, the more you have to wonder. And then did Jeremy Pruitt, was he presented with some of the findings? What we're hearing is no. He was just told, we have cause to fire you. So he didn't even have a right to kind of like defend himself. Is that another part of this?
Well, I mean, here's the issue. The idea that you can fire him for anything you want, you can. You can fire him without cause, but you're going to have to give him his buyout.
Right.
The trick here is you tried to fire him and get out of that buyout, and that means you have a certain level of proof you have to hit. And
Right.
it sounds like, and the fact that it's still going on suggests, we'll see, could be wrong, but sounds like, looks like they don't have that proof yet.
And it
But-
sounds like you're probably headed towards a settlement.
Which, go back and watch our show from the days this happened. We said that was probably what you're going to hit. But let's get into that, because I sense there's some revisionist history going on, whether it's media, fans. A lot of people seem to be thinking, well, we knew the administration shouldn't try and fire him for cause. Record scratch. What? We'll come back and discuss that. Come on back.